Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the internet and of YouTube. Welcome to Final Fantasy Chronicles of Eno. I am your host and game master, as always, Skajaramas, otherwise known as Tone Shift. With me today, we have our full lineup of players. We have Hades Shadow 92 playing Thanatos, the Human Dark Knight.
I take no orders.
We have Luminous Starlight playing Rocket the Chocobo, our cyborg Chocobo warrior.
Hey.
We have Darkness the Drowsy playing Alicier, our human paladin.
Just awoken.
Yes, we literally woke him up from a prolonged, very, very long nap with the voice chat for this thing. That was how he... And I know that because the first thing I heard was, is it what you want? Wait, is that... Oh, shit! And then we just heard him scrambling. You could hear the adrenaline kicking in as he realized he was
Fun
late.
fact, where he is, it's 8 in the evening.
And it's noon for
And
me,
for
so...
Tom.
Speaking of which, last but certainly not least, we have Tom, a 117Z, playing Neothil, our Elvon Ranger.
Ready to shatter Thanatos' delusions.
So, where we last left off, the party had taken on some odd...
on a trip on a floating ship.
Okay, where we last left off, the party had finished up their work in the form of an odd job that they had found in the city of Viala, whereon they were sent to help a local farmer deal with some problems he had been having with cattle and farmhands going missing, and in the process discovered that he was being harassed and his farm attacked by needleback spiders in the middle of the night, stealing away cattle and farmhands and any other meats they could get their grubby little pincers on to give to their matriarch, a huge-ass female many times larger than the rest of them combined.
Might I say, I think I led the charge bravely in subduing this threat.
Ha. Anyway, the battle that waged on was intense and comedic. Alicier was petrified, Neothil shat herself, but the spiders were eventually destroyed, and the abducted farmhands were rescued, as they had been cocooned, although not after being discovered as being alive when Thanatos accidentally lit them on fire.
I mean, it's less accidental, more
I blame
he did it
me.
on purpose.
It was her idea.
Yeah, well, in Nee's defense, she was not in her right mind. She was in the complete bloody panic, phobia episode.
Yes. And now Thanatos is the Pyro Knight, or the Pyromaniac Knight.
He's
always been that.
Well, anyways, following that, the party received their payment, which was easily enough when combined with selling all of the needles and eyes they had procured from the spider corpses, more than enough to secure passage to the city of Garlat in the Galrion Domain via airship, specifically the Wind Runner, who is captained by a gentleman known as Rousel. With all of that, the party, with their newly acquired money, returned to the local inn and tavern to rest up and prepare for the journey ahead. And as I recall, we left off with that, right?
Believe so.
And I would assume we're skipping the last couple of days to launch, and unless you want to do another side quest.
Yeah,
No,
I did declare I was looking around to see if I found anything.
Well, if you want to look around for other work, Alicier, you can make an inquiry check.
No, Alicier, you're forbidden. We restrain you.
We must continue with it. We must go.
We know you're absolutely fucking terrified of meeting your waifu, but you cannot delay forever.
It's not canon.
I thought Athena was back in the...
Oh, I'm talking about his other waifu, the one that wants to kill him. The fierce kicks nuts,
Again,
apparently.
it's not canon.
It's gonna be canon. She's in the intro, mate.
Something is going to be canon, but I can assure you it probably ain't what you're thinking.
Probably still a kick on the nuts.
Can I join in on that?
Yeah, if you want. But anyways, yes, Alicier, if you're serious about looking around for more work, you would want to make an inquiry check.
You've been outvoted. No.
You've been outvoted. No.
We can leave you behind if you want to work as a dancer in some local club.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Alice, you eventually
Thank
make
you
your
for
way.
putting that. Thank you for putting that image in my head.
You eventually make you
You're
finally make
welcome.
your way back to Marasu for the final chapter. You go back to the inn there, and just there's fucking Alicier dancing alongside Luska.
No. Jesus Christ, though.
This is beautiful. Okay, 7 for inquiry. Nothing. Nothing.
Okay.
That
But
would work
even
well
the
for you.
dice do not agree with you. Now, get
Oh,
on
no,
the
what a shame. We're so heartbroken. Get your butt on the ship.
on this ship.
All right, so
Okay.
unless there is anything else,
No.
all right. So a couple days come and go where you spend your time just relaxing in the city, catching your breath, and hyping yourself up for what's to come, and just generally fooling around, just taking some time off. And finally, the day comes where you know the Windrunner will be making its exit from the city. You get together your things, and you work your way through the streets. It's a very nice and pretty day, very warm. You can tell it's definitely in mid-spring at this point, because this campaign's been going for over 100 days in the universe, well over. Thane accompanies you to the airport, to the airship landing. When you arrive at that place, it's very crowded. There are a lot of people around going about their business. You can hear the various engines of some of the airships starting to thrum into life as some of them are pulling out. You can see others kind of hanging outside in the air in the distance, waiting for a port to open up for them to dock at. Very noisy. The general chatter of the crowd is... It's hard to hear most other things over that and the thrum of the airships. You see the Windrunner at the back, where it's been at the sort of third of the piers in this particular dry dock. And you can see that they're loading on passengers right now.
Well, this is our stop. Or rather, the beginning, I suppose. Fane, you sure you're going to be alright back here?
I think so, yeah. Thanks to you all.
Well, you did a lot of it. That sniper rifle does work.
Against a behemoth? Not really. She kind of pats it a couple times. But for smaller fry that I'll be tackling from here on, it'll do fine.
I expect stories if we come by this way again.
I imagine so. You will take care out there, all right?
We'll do our best. It's just gonna be good to get closer to home.
Yeah, I bet. Good luck out there. And she gives a respectful nod of her head and then turns to make her way back into the city.
Well, the rest of you, ready to board?
Well, I guess we have to. To the land of trees and shit.
I mean, you could walk.
To be fair, we're going to be adjacent to the land of trees.
Beautiful, beautiful trees and not a grain of sand in sight. Well, since the rest of you are passengers, actually, what's the queue like?
The queue, it's moving swiftly along, though it is relatively lengthy. But you don't imagine you'd be there for very long. It looks like the people in charge of checking passengers on is very good at their job.
Well, let's queue up with the rest of them. Looks like it's going quickly enough. Remember, it's already been paid for, so have your boarding passes ready.
Just show your tickets.
Aren't we on security detail?
I'm on security detail. The rest of you are just the normal scrubs.
I'm not scrubbing the deck.
I mean, behave yourself, and we'll see.
Oh, Nee, I always behave myself. You know that.
That's what worries me.
You hear Mika laughing.
I'm with her. She knows what's up.
Quite literally.
Yes, and it is a very nice arrangement. Now get your butt on the ship before I have to throw you one.
Could you even throw me?
Don't tempt me. Come on.
Okay. So, you get into the queue, and it doesn't take long before you're eventually ushered onto the deck, and you can see Rousel is over at the opposite side, looking over a clipboard with some notes on it. He's got a couple what appears to be engineers and other members of his staff next to him, talking with him in hushed tones and whatnot.
You guys mind hang fire for a minute? I should probably check in with him, see where he wants me.
Yeah, sure. Go speak with your peoples.
It's been a while.
All right. You go ahead and you make your way up to Rousel, and he looks up as you're approaching. Ah, Mr. Thill. He passes the clipboard off to one of the people. Good to see you made it. Those your friends back there? He nods past your shoulder.
Yep, boarding passes in hand and ready for a long trip over to the Galrion Domain.
Not going to be a super long trip by airship. If you were going on foot, it would be a nightmare. But we should be able to make the journey to Garlat in... Just real quickly do the calculations one more time. I cut that value down to 1/4. Whatever 34 divided by 4 is.
About 8 days.
Yeah.
Just over a week.
We'll be there in about 8, maybe 9 days, depending. So, shouldn't be too much of a hassle.
Well, not the first trip on an airship we've had recently. I should warn you, Thanatos, he's the one in all black and bit purple. He gets incredibly airsick.
That's fine. We have sick bags. And I have a dedicated white mage on board to help ease the symptoms if need be.
I'll let him know. Speaking of, ready to serve? Where do you want me, Captain?
For the time being, go ahead and just stay up top and keep an eye on things.
I can do that. Thanks again for the discount.
You're welcome. As for the rest of your friends, we should have some arrangements down below decks. I'll go ahead and have one of my folks show them to where they'll be sleeping. And that is a chocobo. He looks at Rocket.
Yep. I'm a chocobo.
And it talks. I am growing more and more intrigued by your party by the passing minute.
Yes, a very talking chocobo. Come back.
All right. Hey.
Yeah, I'm gonna be surprised one of these days that somebody doesn't ask about you, Rocket.
All right, well,
And then we'll probably question their sanity.
I question our sanity every day. Do you mind if, before I start on deck, I also just check out the room so, I don't get lost later?
Fair enough. Go ahead. We'll be taking off in about another half hour, so you've got a bit of time to get familiar with the layout of things.
Much obliged. I'll be back once we've gotten acquainted.
Okie dokie. He gives you a thumbs up and heads off to do his own thing somewhere. You're not really sure.
Right, so there you have it. Find a sailor to take us down to our cabins, see what the situation is. Thanatos, I assume you'll be glued to the hip of that white mage.
No, he's already got Nerf Knight.
Depends, is it a he or a she?
I didn't see fit to ask. I'm sure you'll find out, and I'm sure you'll be disappointed one way or the other.
Yeah, probably.
All right. So you poke around for a bit, and eventually one of the airship attendees nods like, yeah, sure, I can show you down to your places. Let me see your tickets. All right, follow me. He takes you down below decks, and after a few twists and turns, you're shown to a collection of rooms. There's 3 rooms between all of you. 4 of you will get to bunk up. It's up to you who bunks up where. and one of you will get a room to yourself.
Okay. All right.
So I think it goes without saying that Mika and Nee are bunking up.
Well, of
Yes.
course.
Rocket, do you want that room to yourself since you need the most room?
I mean, I suppose
Why?
so. I don't really need a bed. I mean, I can sleep on the floor if you guys.
This means.
And I'm imagining Rocket curled up in a blanket, and it's fucking adorable.
Yeah, probably.
Still, considering there's limited space in these bunks, you having a larger space to yourself would be most convenient for everyone. So, bigger room's yours. Maybe you can get
Wait.
some Geisha greens taken for you.
Wait a minute. You
Mhm.
two getting a room. She's got a room. Does that mean I'm stuck with Mr. Edge and Nerf over here?
Yes, and I'm stuck with little goody two shoes that's probably gonna snore all night.
Huh.
Hey, at least you're comfortable.
Miscreant.
At least you're comfortable with bunk beds. Me and Mika are kind of. I gotta go used to sharing a double bed.
Aw, isn't that cute? But remember, the walls aren't quite as thick as they were at the inn.
Where's the nearest porthole so I can shove him out of it?
Mika's just like,
No, it's fine. I'll just gag him with my tail if he keeps it up.
I can live with that as long as it causes him excess amounts of discomfort.
He'll definitely get a hairball.
Isn't that your thing?
she pouts.
I'm not a house cat, you moron.
Yeah, if I got to sleep in a room with him, could you teach me the sleep spell? That would be most handy.
Let me double check.
That's black. One, that's black magic, so that would be my thing.
I will
Two.
make a look.
Two,
I
you need to
will-
learn a silencing spell or something.
Oh, that would be great. I can mute you on and off.
I'll mute yourself more often than me.
Oh, this is going to be a good
Or
trip.
if it keeps me from hearing your snoring, that'd be perfect.
Yeah, to be fair, Alicier, you do snore yourself. I can attest to this for all the many times I take first watch.
We're not all perfect.
Well, of course we're not all perfect. We are the biggest bunch of misfits probably in all of Eno.
Misfits
true.
with drama and angst and weird spiritual maybe mothers.
True,
And there's also that thing where your father figure / master is a clone aspect of you and is also your cape.
He can hear you, you know.
Good.
I get the impression she doesn't like me.
Gee, what was your first clue?
I was being sarcastic.
You know you're talking out loud to yourself, right, Thanatos? We can't hear the other you inside you.
That is true.
He said for you to fuck off.
No, he didn't.
Well, the feeling's mutual and has been since, the whole attempted murder thing.
Hey,
I
he
don't-
may be a cape, but at least he's no worse for wear.
or even
Ah,
as you.
Fun.
How about that, Kaya? She says, patting the cape. You've been delegated to a pun.
We're finding the white mage. Alright, and with that, you actually feel a slight tugging on the cape around your neck. Then it starts subtly nudge you in a direction. And like the rest of you can just see it twitching around his neck. It's like, stop it! He's waddling
Now
off.
look what you've done. You got him started.
Well,
I see
and
this
so-
as an absolute win.
and a way to welcome him to the party, even though he almost killed us.
If I choke her, is that to be me choking her or is that Kaya's choking?
Yes.
You're just you. You just have a very weird brain.
Speaking of which, at least he won't choke you to death, because if you die, he'd die. He'd just annoy you, though.
Yeah, that's kind of the point, at least now.
Anyway.
Shall we go off on whatever we're supposed to do on this creaking tub?
I'm sure you can all
Bring
find
this
things to do.
fantastic
I did
ship.
promise the captain I'd be back on deck and doing my part of the bargain for our little trip. Mika, are you going to be alright just chilling for a while?
Yeah, I think I'll be all right. I'll take the chance to talk some more with my teacher back at the city.
She holds up her messaging book.
Oh yeah, how are things back in the city? I forgot you had that book.
They're going. I mean, it's how I learned that protect spell I used against the spiders.
Don't remind me. Well, I'm off on deck then. Duty calls, and
Have fun.
for the first, I will do.
I'm gonna look around and see
Been a while
where
since
I
it's
need to
my actual duty. Let's do
Alright,
this.
So she gets to go on deck and look at the view, and we're stuck doing work down here.
Why
You're
are you
not doing any
complaining?
work. You're passengers. She calls as she's leaving.
You'll only have to do work if called on, but for the most part, you are passengers, yes.
Mhm.
Well,
And besides,
I'm the only one who's
whenever
working,
you
and
get
it's
the view,
voluntary.
You go to Mr. Puke Night mode. You'd be fine. Just don't look down. You'd be fine.
All right, so
is there a white magic spell that gives him wings?
I don't think
Red
Yeah, it's
Bull.
called Red Bull.
I didn't say that.
there is a spell called Fly, but it doesn't give you wings. It just lets you fly for a short time.
Nee is interested anyway.
Magic gives you wings. Or flight.
Does he know it yet?
No, I don't know what level the fly spell is.
Shame.
Let me look.
I'm curious.
Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Let's keep it a mystery and see what happens.
Fly, 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 fly.
Hey, Hades, maybe we can take a detour and stop at Mogglebog's Mountain.
I don't see a fly.
Because that's your favorite place in Hades? Mogglebog's Mountain?
It's a time magic spell.
Oh, it's time.
There you go.
Why is it time? What does flying have to do with time?
I don't know.
Time to fly.
It's because you're like freezing gravity so that you can just drift around.
Also, Tom, fuck you.
I mean, Nee doesn't swing that way. She's kind of doing that with Mika. So,
Well, anyways, so
Anywho, let's see what's going on around the ship.
right. So Thanatos, you're looking for the white mage?
Do I have to?
I mean, I figured that's what you would be
You
doing.
suggested it.
and that's where Caius was dragging
No.
you.
Well, Caius suggested. I don't really know why.
Yes, which is partially you.
He was suggesting it
Therefore,
to
you
get you away
partially-
from the conversation.
Why would I need to go find the white?
Because air sickness.
Oh yeah, that's a thing.
Which is a
Mika,
stunning
where is
house.
that porthole?
Yeah. All right.
Astonishing. He doesn't even have to look at the view to puke.
Yeah. And it's like after a couple minutes after Nee heads up back onto the decks, you all feel the telltale rocking of the ship and you hear a heavy as the airship comes away from the dock and takes to the air. You feel the now familiar sensation of flying through the air on an airship from below decks. It's interesting and fascinating. Thanatos, you feel like your stomach has taken an unscheduled vacation to the Sahara.
What a lovely day for a ride. Oh.
Why did they invent these things? Humans are not supposed to fly.
On the contrary, we learn how to fly in our own little way. And this is one of them.
Would you like flying lessons, Alicier?
Nah, I'm pretty fascinated with this structure, thanks.
That makes one of us.
All right, so is anyone doing anything particularly meaningful or just milling about?
I mean, Nee's just keeping on the lookout like what's requested.
He is doing her knee thing.
All right,
I'm
Alicier,
just studying the ship.
all right.
Just look.
It's a very fascinating ship. You notice that the sleek and elegant sort of aerodynamic aero design that permeates the outside continues on the inside as you're going around. There are a lot of smooth curves and sharp angles that gives everything this very elegant and flowing feel, reminding you of artistic depictions of gusts of air or speeding clouds. It's all very elegant and colored in friendly greens and yellows and the occasional blue or brown, giving it this very natural, earthy sort of look as you're moving around. The lights come in these like orange lamps along the walls. It's very nice, very relaxing. And it's remarkably quiet too. You remember the Stargazer had a constant sort of thrumming sound to it. And while this one, there is a definite constant noise, it's a lot more subdued compared to the Stargazer. Although you can definitely tell this one isn't quite as fast as the Stargazer in many regards, and it definitely wouldn't be anywhere near as maneuverable, given how large it is and how many people it houses. Stargazer was a compact ship. This is bigger because it's a passenger liner. But yeah, all in all, pretty interesting ship. And before long, you feel you've got a good feel for the layout. Rocket, what about you? You doing anything?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't know. Just whatever I'm needed to do.
All right, roosting in your room it is. And Thanatos. You are making unfortunate messes for the animals down below and poisoning Lake Melody. Gotcha.
Clean it up.
So, all business as usual.
Pretty much.
That's all you hear echoing through the halls. Clean it up.
He's peeking at a porthole. He's fine.
Although it might be getting on some of the sides of the ship.
A little bit. But that's nothing new.
And what be Mika doing?
She's staying in her and Nee's room and contacting her teacher.
She's making a call.
More or less.
Or no, it's in a book. She's texting.
Yeah, technically. All right, so the first day of travel comes and goes. Over the course of it, you sail over the vast majority of Lake Melody before coming out over the Cellosong Forest. You look down and you can see, if you bother to look down at any point, you see the terrain sort of thins out for a second, the forestation, and you can just make out what you assume to be the Chocobo Forest Ranch down below. It seems like there's a bunch of large open fields and even a few racing tracks set up. Very nice. Let's see here.
We never got to bet on there. It's a shame. Rocket probably could have won the whole thing.
Just wait until the game.
All right.
And you can have your dreams come true for losing all your money in betting.
Yeah, we'll probably have a Chocobo Racing minigame in Costa del Sol.
Probably. Although, is having a cyborg one considered cheating?
Not really. All right. Saki.
I mean, is Rocket any faster than the standard Chocobo?
I mean, she's about the same speed. Her only real advantage is she can fly.
No offense, man.
And that's a black Chocobo thing.
I say black Chocobos can all fly, can't they?
I mean, she wasn't able to at first because of how weighed down she was by her cyborg parts.
The point is, though, just for a black Chocobo, that's nothing unusual.
Right.
No
Anyways.
offense, Venator. There's no need to take advantage of a friend.
All right, so.
It's not taking advantage. We were broke.
Let's see here.
Oh, she said no anyway.
She would have had fun.
Interesting. Thanatos, could you roll me a d12, please?
Oh boy.
Do I have to?
Yes, please.
It is the way of the dice.
Rolling for encounters, oh dear.
All
I
right.
don't like that.
All right. Well then, as you are going into the third day, and then eventually into the third night, the sun goes down and everyone makes their way back to their rooms for the night for some much-needed rest. In the middle of the night, though, Thanatos and Nee, You two are abruptly jarred from your slumber in the middle of the night, and you're not 100% sure why, but Thanatos, you have a much more keen sense of what it is as you're suddenly jolted awake, heart beating hard against your chest. The air around you sort of shifts a little bit in a tangible way, and you feel your own, the energy you use, the darkness that you keep inside of you, Caius notably, it all just sort of shifts and stirs a little bit, as if in response to something. Your ears tickle a bit, and your pupils dilate for a second before returning to normal, and you feel very on edge very suddenly.
Something's not right.
So wait, our characters, something like dark magical is going on, and both Nee and Thanatos are sensing it.
Well, Nee, you're waking up, and you're definitely feeling on edge, but you're not sensing it anywhere near as acutely as Thanatos is.
It's just concerning that the fact that Nee is sensing it at all, but okay, let's go with it.
What's going on? Caius? You feel that?
He manifests next to your bed and something isn't right.
Yeah, no shit. What was it?
I'm not sure. Whatever it was something big. Something just stirred in the darkness around us. The world itself.
Cthulhu, is that you?
You're asleep.
Meanwhile,
I'm
in Nee's...
dreaming.
I don't know why I'm having a horrifying feeling it's like a dragon that got corrupted.
in Nee's cabin,
Oh,
she's
no.
going to... Let's say Nee's on the top bunk because she likes heights.
Yeah, she likes heights, okay.
Just gonna let's look down, kind of gently shake Mika. Hey, Mika.
What?
I don't know. Something's not right. I'm not feeling. Could I say this? A feeling somewhat equates to like whenever I got the feeling of Panara being close.
You can see there's a vague resemblance to the sensation, but it is very different. The sensations with Panara usually only ever make you scared because you simply don't understand them. You don't know what's going on, and so it's more of a conscious fear. This feels more primal, more instinctual, like something itself just turned wrong with the world for a moment.
It feels. I can't explain. It feels kind of like whenever Panara would show up, but it's not. It's something else. I don't know. Something's not right on this ship.
Mika sits up and lifts up a hand that glows blue, and she casts Detect Magic. A pulse goes throughout the ship.
I'm not sensing anything out of place. Seems fine.
Let's check on Thanatos and Alicier. If there is anything, either I'm imagining this and I'm just being paranoid because of Panara, or if something is going on, if anyone will know, it'll be Caius and Thanatos.
Right.
Back in Thanatos' room?
Mm-hmm.
Alicier, wake up.
Sleep. What is it? Are you sleep talking to him?
Something's not right.
Why? What is it?
Something just shifted in the air. Something dark.
Yeah, and Alicier, you notice that Caius is actually manifested in the room, currently leaning against one of the walls, looking at the portal window.
Whenever your other self shows up, that is not a good sign.
Especially when Alicier
My
can see
attention.
him.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, can we say knock
Oh.
knock?
Yeah, knock knock.
Thanatos, you awake in there?
Unfortunately.
Yeah, open.
Yep, you step in,
So-
you see Caius leaning
And-
against the wall and everyone else.
Yeah, we're not alone in here.
So it's not by imagination. You feel something off too.
Yeah, I definitely felt something, and it's not good.
I can
it's-
confirm I'm feeling it far more keenly than Thanatos is, Caius points out.
Alicier, did you feel anything?
No, but Thanatos' other side just says it all. There's something not right.
So neither of you did. It's just us.
One of you
I'm
go
gonna I'm gonna blame Panara somehow for me knowing, but okay. That's questions for later.
Yep, Caius glances sideways at you. That was my speculation as well.
That's it. Yeah, I forgot you would know about Panara because you know everything Thanatos knows. Sorry, I can't get me off guard. Mika, do you mind waking up Rocket while we see what's going on here?
Yeah, I'm on it.
She heads out, and as she's
Thanks.
going, Caius sort of unfolds his arms. I can tell you why
See
I felt
anything
it.
out there?
No, there's nothing out of place outside. This is more of a broad strokes thing. It's not localized. Glances back towards Nee. As for how I was able to feel it, and by extension Thanatos, it boils down to the fact that I am an entity of pure darkness, and that means I can keenly sense its movements. As I'm a part of him, he inherits a great deal of that. As for you, I can only imagine you might sense it, because, as you said, of your connection to this Panara woman.
What do you know of her, if anything?
In truth, I know only what Thanatos knows about her. But I can sense more than he can whenever she reaches out to you.
You mentioned this way back in Marasu. What was it?
She definitely uses the power of Amber to reach out to you, which itself is disconcerting. But,
Yeah, tell me about it, especially since she might be related to me.
but the way it manifests is unlike any other manifestation of darkness I've ever felt. Darkness typically takes the form of chaos and any of the associated emotions. Rage, grief, sorrow, etc. Anything and everything that throws someone's mind on its head, or the world itself, into disarray. But in this instance, it was still very much like that, but it wasn't as disorderly. It was controlled chaos. Directed. Not too dissimilar to how a Dark Knight might wield their power, but in a very different fashion. I taught Thanatos how to wield his darkness and channel it into a weapon. This feels more like... It's hard to describe. It's not being used as a weapon, though I fear it definitely could be. The closest thing I can imagine is it's being used as an extension, which makes sense, given she's bridging your minds with it.
To what extent and how far? Well, it's questions I can only ask her in person. But
Back to the matter at hand.
once we have Rocket, let's have a look on deck, see if there's anything aside from just feeling. But
Yeah, and on that note, Rocket will cut over to you. You're sleeping soundly, and then you hear a...
Rocket, you in there?
I don't want any more pudding.
What?
The door opens, and you glance up, and there's Mika looking back at you with this kind of concerned look on her face.
I still don't want any more pudding.
Were you having a really nice dream or something? Never mind. Doesn't matter. We got a situation. Could you come over to the next room?
Okay.
You get up, you ruffle your feathers a little, a little bit.
A little burp.
That just came out of nowhere. I don't know what happened. But you follow Mika back into Thanatos' room, and you see everyone else is already gathered in there.
good. Well, you haven't missed much. We've determined that yes, Panara is why I can sense it, and some other interesting stuff. But that's for later. We're going to head up on deck and see what's going on. Kai said it's a worldly thing, not located just on the ship, which is worrying more so.
Thanatos,
You think it could be related to Diablos?
possibly. He is the representation of darkness itself, and this was a very large stirring in that force.
You pinpoint the source of it?
I cannot. As I said, it's on a very broad scale. So
Oh,
either
let's have a look. Up on deck. Now.
You all turn to leave, and as you're going, Thanatos turns back into shadow and flows back around Thanatos' neck, and his cloak is back.
Thanatos turns back into shadow and turns around Thanatos' neck.
Caius, shut up.
Well, technically he's not wrong, considering he is technically me.
Yes,
He
but
is
it's,
part of you.
it also brings up weird imagery the way he will.
Right.
And has his own personality.
Yeah.
So, on deck we go.
Yep. You make your way up on deck, and you look out, and you're currently flying over a very large river. You look down, and you're over largely just open plains, and you can see a very large open steppe up ahead, where it's just flat grassland for miles and miles with this perpetual not thick, but a perpetual fog over it. Even in the moonlight, you can see that. As you perpetual thick. And as you're all looking out,
Extra thick.
yes. And as you're all looking out, I need everyone to make awareness checks.
Okay.
Yay, awareness.
Is my awareness still 4 or 5? I always forget. It's still 4.
And I had to fix a few mistakes on my sheet, which is done now.
Draw dice. I'm not.
13!
That's it. What is this garbage?
80!
This is bullshit.
Rocket's highly alert.
Well, then of course Rocket gets the highest because Rocket.
It's almost a crit.
All right, so 8, 13, 10, and 18. All right. I'll look out over the environment. Nee, you briefly catch the eye of one of the other, there are like a couple of guards up on deck just keeping an eye out in case of aerial monsters. And sort of give your group this odd look, but choose not to push it. It's just like, not my business, as long as they don't cause trouble, and go back to looking out. As you look out at the night world around you, it's a clear sky. The stars are shining down. Moon is half full. The world below seems calm and peaceful, and you're not seeing anything out of place.
This is worrying. Not something local, then, unless something's about to come out of the fog and horribly try and mutilate us. Means it's something elsewhere. Totally.
Tempt fate. Me.
Well, fate is already being tempted by... You remember what you told us about your vision with Diabolos? Him wanting to alter the world.
Yeah.
And now we're suddenly sensing darkness everywhere. 2 and 2. Something's going on out there, and I don't think we're gonna like it.
Yes. And as long as that chaotic being is loose, there will be no peace.
He wants to restore his world, but it's gonna cost far too much.
It'll cost all of our lives. Every mortal being in Eno.
Well, I'm going to stay up for the rest of the night, just in case. You're welcome to join me if you want, but the rest of you should probably get some sleep.
I'll keep
You
you
think-
company.
You think the other gods
Thanks.
felt that?
Let's hope so. If Bahamut could just, show up now, it'd save us the job of going through Leviathan.
That would be very convenient.
And very bad, which means we would have to explain Tiamat.
Frankly, it could... I'd be more hopeful that it could help if he was aware, but...
I don't want to be
As
the
it
one to
is.
tell him that.
Well, then you can go back to bed.
Gladly, if I can sleep with all this crap.
It is worth noting that the feeling has died down at this point. Like, you felt the shift, but things seem to have stabilized at this point.
Still gonna probably haunt me in my nightmares. What is that?
Thank you. All right.
What is that?
I would say that because I'm set to busy, but that's alright.
All right. So, who all is heading back down below decks?
Me.
Okay, Thanatos. Alicier, what are you doing?
Anasaya.
Alicier.
Alicier.
Darkness the drowsy.
Hello.
Hi. Yes, hello. What happened to
There
you?
we go. It's working now. Sorry, my mic malfunctioned then,
Hmm.
or my PC. But anyway, as I was saying, I was keeping an eye out still, but pretty much heading back.
Okay, so
I
you're
mean,
heading- in case
how
you're-
late is it in the night?
It's like middle of the night. Like everyone's asleep.
I'll probably just briefly keep an eye out now and then and take a bit of rest.
Fair enough. All right. And Rocket, what are you doing?
Well, they're keeping watch, right?
Mika and
Yeah.
Nee are staying up top, yes.
Okay. I guess I'm resting till then.
All right.
Unless they need me.
Okay. So you head back down below decks, and now it's just Nee and Mika up top with a couple of other of the guards who are kind of giving a sideways look. Like, they're curious, but not bugging
She kind of looks out at them. I suggest you keep an eye out for something that actually constitutes trouble.
you. And they turn back their attention to the outside.
People can't help but stare, can they?
You are supposed to be inside, so...
I'm also on security though, so slightly more present. You, however, Miss Solwyn, you should be asleep.
Well, I mean... Maybe, but...
I'm kidding. I appreciate you being out here.
Hmm.
Sets me more at ease.
You, all right, you stick together for a while, keeping an eye out at the night. About an hour passes. You're kind of meandering over the deck, and you eventually find your way to the front of the ship. You're kind of looking up and around. Your eyes settle on the sky overhead. Kind of look at some of the constellations for a little while. It's very gentle, very serene, very pretty. And then one of them moves.
Mika, tell me you saw that.
Huh?
That star? It just moved.
Another one moves.
And another. Unless it's like a comet, I don't think stars are meant to do that. Aren't they meant to be like really far away?
I'm not seeing what you're talking about.
Mika saying that you're seeing more and more drifting across your vision, and they're starting to turn orange.
Oh, shit. Yeah, they're turning orange now. I think I'm having a moment.
Well, at least you're getting better at handling them.
She, grabs onto your arm and holds on tight.
I'm here for you, alright?
Yeah. Well, you get enough trauma. You get used to it. I'm not sure that's a good thing, but stick around for a bit. Yeah, I'm gonna see if she knows anything. If I can even talk to her.
Yep. Stare directly ahead for a second as more orange stars drift across your vision, and then your vision flickers and you're in that void with the amber stars drifting all around you, and you see Panara up ahead looking around. She looks a lot more distressed than usual.
Okay, back here. Coming. Get back to annoyed state. That's better than being terrified. Panara!
She turns in your general direction, squints. You can tell she's trying to see you, but you haven't fully established that link yet. So she's like,
Nee's
seeing
going
through
to
you.
strut up to her and pretty much just place a hand on Panara's wrist.
All right. Again, frighteningly cold, but you tough through it, and the second you grab on, her eyes focus in on you.
There you are.
Yeah, I figure you turning up now has something to do with the whole darkness thing we've been feeling.
You felt that?
Yeah, I felt that. I have many questions about that, but I assume you still can't answer them.
Well, in this case, it's because I have no idea.
Huh. That makes a change. What is it? Do you have any clue?
All I know for certain is that I felt a enormous shifting in the very thing that I draw my power from.
She gently pulls her wrist back out of your hand.
The amber.
Yes.
Gotta be Diabolos, we know it.
Wouldn't know for sure.
Well, he's been a rather pain in our backsides recently, and he's trying to destroy the world. So... Yeah, that's a bombshell. We can explain more in person, but... Well, you'll be happy to know I'm getting close to Vitae. We're almost up on the Galrion Domain. Hopefully business there will conclude quickly.
I can definitely tell that you're drawing closer.
She looks at you sideways.
The connection was a lot easier to establish this time. Although paradoxically, it's harder to maintain because you're in very rapid motion.
We're aboard an airship right now.
I don't know what that is.
What? How can you not know what an airship is?
I'm not from these lands. Everything I've seen so far is extremely foreign to me.
Not from these lands, like Eno?
Not this continent.
Which continent? Where do you come from? And for that matter, what race are you?
She reaches up and kind of lightly touches a hand to one of her less pointy than your ears.
It's complicated.
So I figured, and I have a feeling that I'm complicated. Would I be wrong saying that?
It depends on a great many things. Unfortunately, we don't have time to work through right now.
Yeah, I figured. Was this just you checking up on me, or do you have something I need to know?
When I felt the shifting, I was concerned because I felt it playing on our link. I just needed to make sure I could still reach you.
Well, here I am, getting closer by the day. I really hope you have some answers. And
So do I.
comforting. You don't look well.
She sort of looks down at her hands.
What do you mean?
Disheveled, kind of weaker? I don't know.
This spell is very taxing. That's why I've
Are you
only
in-
ever held it for short times at any given point.
Are you in danger of using it?
It's just draining, but I know when to cut it off before it becomes an actual risk. It's subconscious at this point.
Right. Well, I'll be there soon, and we'll figure it out.
I look forward to it.
Yeah, so do I. As I said, I have a lot of questions, especially if you are who I think you are.
Right, I think I'm going to go ahead and cut our link for now. Getting taxing, but you seem to be alright. You are alright, yes?
For the most part, aside from an encounter with some spiders, but I'm good.
Oh, you have those here too. Wonderful.
Not keen yourself, huh?
They're not my favorite creatures. Too many legs.
I know, right? Just creepy. Huh. Well, disconnect. I should get back to work anyway.
Alright.
It's also... You're marginally less terrifying than you used to be to me. You have to know.
Familiarity has a tendency to do that.
You never not been familiar. That's what the terrifying thing was.
Well, then maybe you're just realizing I'm not a threat to you.
I hope so.
She lifts a hand up to her forehead and the void around you shudders a bit.
Yep, I'm at my limit.
Go then. I'll be there
see-
soon.
Speak with you soon.
The void twitches again and then shatters away from your vision, and you're back on the airship, having slumped against the rail, eyes wide.
Even as I get used to it, it still a shock to the system.
I can imagine. Your consciousness is being pulled to a different location or something.
Well, it's worse on her. It's doing a number. She sends it too. It's running through the amber, the shift I sensed. So it's Diablo, so it has to be him.
So he's up to something. Great.
We pulled on our connection. Yeah. We're gonna find out, one way or the other.
All right. You doing all right?
She's arachnophobic.
I guess that makes her a little less scary, huh? Something you have in common?
Yeah, we do have that in common. My theory strengthens. Maybe it's genetic.
She raises an eyebrow.
Uh,
Hey, it's the current theory I got. I still don't know where I came from, and this is just it's a thing. I'm weird. Your girlfriend's weird. You know that?
She sort of nudges you in the ribs.
well, why do you think I follow you around so much?
I'm just another little mystery of the universe, am I?
You're fascinating.
She sort of wiggles her eyebrows at you.
She plonks a kiss on her nose. Good to know.
All right. And with that, I think we can go ahead and move on. You spend a little while longer keeping an eye out on things before eventually your sleep deprivation catches up to you and you start feeling tired again, and eventually you make your way back below decks. And before long, the following day comes and travel resumes. So, is there anything else anyone would like to do in transit?
Yes, Hades.
Well, I mean, there is that white mage that you kept poking me to, so I imagine that's somewhat.
I know that.
Okay.
I've seen that thing, but okay,
All right,
sure.
all right, okay. So then, we'll go ahead and tackle that. Thanatos, at one point, like halfway through the day, the air sickness is just getting to be a bit much for you, and you finally cave and you ask around for a bit and are given directions to where the local white mage, the ship's white mage's office is. You make your way down and you knock on the door. A couple seconds later, it opens up and you don't see anyone.
Hello?
Down here, Kupo.
Just slowly looks down.
Yes, yes, yes.
You look down and there's a Moogle, dressed in white robes with red triangles along the base.
Am I in the right place?
Are you looking for the white mage?
Yeah.
Then you found him, Kupo.
The Moogle hops up and starts
Fantastic.
fluttering in the air right in front of your face.
This makes me fundamentally happy.
Does a little happy and cheerful spin.
Name's Puko, Kupo. Nice to meet you.
Thanatos. And nice to meet you, too.
So, what can I do for you, Kupo?
Got any spells that'll stop me from heaving my insides out?
Ah, air sickness, huh? Yeah, it's pretty common. Hold still.
He flutters forward, puts his little paws on your chest. His already closed eyes sort of squint really, really, really tightly shut. And his little whiskers start trembling and his nose twitches a few times. You hear him muttering this little chant under his breath. Iggity, biggity, woogada, bippity, boppity, boo. And then some white magic flows through you, and you feel your air sickness taper off. It's
Nice
still
reference.
it's still there in your belly, but it's a lot more manageable. And a second later, Puka pulls back.
There you go. That should last you for about 6 hours. If it starts flaring up again, come see me and I can add another layer to it.
It feels so much better. Thank you.
You're welcome, Kupo.
Does a little spin.
Anything else I can help you with?
No, that's about it. Thanks again.
You are welcome. Now then,
He spins around and the door starts to drift close. He sort of backs into it.
I have a project to tend to.
And the second the door closes, you hear what sounds like a tiny T-Rex growling in there, followed by Puka going,
No, down, boy, Kapow.
and then what sounds like a frying pan hitting an eggshell, and then a dog whining, and everything goes silent.
Okay, I'm going to very quickly go back on deck.
What a fascinating creature, Caius mumbles.
Brian, you're a mad genius.
Moogles are weird.
They are fascinating is what they are. All right.
Oh, great.
Anything else from anyone else?
May I make a statement out of character real quick?
You may.
Curse you, curse Tom, and curse King Muggamug.
For anyone who may or may not be this, Hades does not like Moogles.
I do not like a specific Moogle. Anyone who has played Final Fantasy XIV will know the one I am talking about.
Muggle mug.
Good King Mog, Lord of all the land.
God damn it.
All right.
To be fair, I think he's alright.
You had this plan, didn't you?
No, I just improvised that whole encounter. I was originally planning on making the White Mage a Bonga, but then I thought, this would actually be funnier, and went with the Moogle.
I think I would have preferred the Bonga.
Thanatos wouldn't have.
I
What
mean,
about Behemoth?
No.
why would a behemoth be a white mage?
I mean, I'm sure the thing he had in there that was roaring like a T-Rex and whining like a dog was probably like a behemoth pup or something.
Truth be told, I don't even know what it was. And you'll never know.
Moving on! I'm just going with behemoth pup just because it would piss Hades off to no end.
Moving
Yeah.
on.
Okay.
No pet?
Okay. So, does anyone else have anything else?
Aside from doing the rounds,
That's the same for me. I
All
guess
right.
not.
All right. Well then, if that is the case, the remainder of the journey is mercifully uneventful. You pass over the ancestral home of the Numo, this big, empty steppe that goes on for quite some distance, before eventually going over the Gulf of Old Vatea, this large swath of ocean, very large bay area. And then finally, your airship comes back to the shore, and you see up ahead the city of Garlat in the distance. Alicier, to you it is immediately familiar, but to everyone else, you are taken aback by it. It is a very different sort of city to what you've seen before. Whereas places like Marasu were very lazy and slapped together, and the Academy City was majestic and arcane, whereas places like Endlum were steampunk and magitech all around, and Costa del Sol was all kinds of happily relaxed and vacationy, and Kurzatan was shit. And Viala was kind of a cultural blending pot. This place, the whole city, gives off the vibe of being one big cathedral, almost, in the way it's laid out and set up.
Oh, joy.
It is enormous, and as you're coming in, it's on the water, so you can see a bunch of naval ships on the water coming into port, pulling out of port. Some are just sticking around. And you do see this place has several airship towers, 6 of which are hidden behind the castle walls, you presume for their aerial military, their air force. Each one of those airship towers looks like it can dock around 6 to 9 airships, depending on their size. Mooring up to their sides.
Huh. Ranya's descriptions never gave this place justice, or the pictures I've seen. You came from here, Alicier?
Mm-hmm. I'm finally home.
Yeah.
You know what? For some reason, it makes me uncomfortable.
We
What's
might have...
wrong? Too busy for your liking? Too many cathedrals? Maybe too many airships?
I mean, cathedrals and holy with me being all dark and stuff.
I think the Phils came here once, but I was too little to remember it. I mean, if you look just beyond Garlat, those trees over there, that's the Great Vatean Forest.
Yeah, you can see the beginnings of the Great Vitaean Forest, like, way in the distance. It's barely visible. It's just this darkening of green against the horizon, but you can see it.
Look, Nee, you're almost home.
My home's in there, though you have to go through the state of Sanamo first. But practically, Alicier, pats him on the back, we're neighbours.
Yep. Could have thought it.
Beyond that, you got the edge of nothingness, the Arian Badlands, and then a jungle. Things get green again.
Speaking of
Ah.
edge, as long as you don't do anything, too dark or say anything offensive, I think you do fine here, Thanatos. Just don't boast on what you are. Listen,
I'm gonna die here, aren't
No. Well, the worst possible scenario.
Hey, we survived your territory. You can survive our territory.
And besides, the worst thing they could do is probably hit you with a load of holy magic that might burn you a bit. But besides that, you'd be fine.
I mean, it's not going to be any worse than it will be when we get to Vitae, where the worst they can do is shoot you with a lot of arrows.
I? I think I prefer the arrows.
Oh, good. I'll make a note of that.
All right, so one more thing you notice as your airship is pulling in. On the southern end of the city, outside of the walls, you see a big tower that kind of coils and spirals around, and at the very top, it kind of flares out in a manner that looks like a flared out and sort of downward curling dragon wing, as if the wing is cupping down to like scoop up water out of a river almost in the way it's shaped. It's very elaborate and very draconic and has a lot of towering points on it all over the place.
The hell is that?
You may all make lore checks to see if you know what this is. Alicier, you already know. I will send it to you via Discord.
I suggest we let Alicier
Okay.
explain, since this is his home and
Yeah.
he doesn't remember ever being here. So,
I mean, we could have Mika do her little egghead thing. The whole lore, everything.
I mean, I do know a lot about Final Fantasy, but even I need some information today.
Well, that's why he's
Yeah.
sending it to you in DMs.
Yep.
as amazing as Mika is, we have a local expert. We have a homeboy. So,
And I might have to disappear for a brief moment, but I will return. Yes,
Oh.
I might. Sorry.
Lots of typing.
he is
Oh,
giving
the
Darkness the information he requires.
I require more information.
Galrion Domain.
Just behave yourself. Don't insult any shrines or anything like that. Oh, there it is. Yeah.
So if I run into a priest,
What's in the Galrion Domain is the majority of the population human.
Yes, it is the other prominently human nation on the continent, the other being Endlem, or Linsolum, rather.
so mostly human, with, I'm guessing, with how close Vitae is, some Elvan.
Yep. And some Bonga, too. Or Galka, rather.
Galka. I said, we're a little far from Bonga territory.
I mean, you will find the occasional Bonga, but it's mostly Galka who migrated north from Piera Oasis.
I'm sure you'd find. I'm sure you'll find other species in Vitae as well, but it's gonna be mostly us pesky knifers.
I didn't say that, you did.
You said it in the past. I know how you think.
I say it as a term of endearment.
Yeah, I know, and I do the exact same. It's completely endearing when I threaten to throw you off the ship.
Y'all are knucking futs.
Knucking futs.
So, he asked about the
The-
battlements over there, Alisa?
Yeah, the big tower thing.
I think he said he had to disappear, but oh, there he is.
I heard him for a brief moment.
Sorry about that. Hang on. I got a problem. I just put the mute on the freaking 0. That's why. Sorry. Anyway,
Explain to us about your hometown.
or what the big tower thingy is.
Okay. So I just need to grab my other. Where's my? Ah, fuck the phone. I'll just switch between the thing. I'll get the phone later. It is the Dragon Spire, which is the military home for.
Dragoons. You're having trouble pronouncing
Dragoons, you
words.
say?
Yes, the Dragoons. Sorry, I just got called away now. Hang on a sec.
Yeah.
Alistair's just kind of popping in and out of existence, and he's trying to explain this military outpost.
Well, apparently he's being called away at 8 or 9 in the evening, so...
I mean, that's nothing new. I usually get called away at like 11 or 12 to take out the trash and recyc.
Yeah. Dragoons, you say?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, maybe we'll run into your waifu there, Thanatos.
She was a good friend and a very accomplished fighter
I'm sure.
who happened to be a dragoon, although don't dragoons usually have lances?
I love how you're the one questioning that when you're the one who gave her the spear, or the whip.
Yes, I know. I'm expecting Nika to give me a lecture about it, but
Yeah, me.
I mean, all this is out of character anyway, because we're currently in the middle of a mission that's on pause.
I know.
He is
He's typing.
Typing.
It's not a good time to have malfunctions. This is your stuff.
I'll be
Since
back
he
in a
can
few-
be-
I'll just recount it.
Back.
That
when it comes to scripting, I'll just do it out.
Yes.
Yeah, that tower is the Dragon Spire, which is essentially the garrison and military home of the Dragoons, who are you have the occasional Dragoon in other nations, but they got their start and are primarily based out of the Galrion Domain. It is said that spire was built in collaboration between the founders of the city and a dragon named Galrion, who the nation got its name from after they split away from the crumbling remains of the old Vataean Empire.
Don't dragoons hunt dragons?
They work together with dragons in this setting, or at the very least,
Oh.
they fight in a style reminiscent of dragons, with the jumping up high and whatnot.
So, plenty of dragoons. What about paladins? Are there many other of those in the city? Because I know you had to go and study a number.
I mean,
You have to answer that for him.
and he explains that, there are plenty of, paladins are definitely a prominent thing in the Galrion Domain, due in large part to it being far more spiritually inclined than other places. White mages and paladins in general are very prominent, and just knights in general. He points out this big building way back here. This you don't see the map yet. He points out a bigger building way in the back that you can see is very much its own towering cathedral among the rest of the sort of Gothic cathedral-styled architecture, and points out that's the Great Cathedral where a great many paladins are based from, but not every paladin is religiously or spiritually based, him being an example of that. Many are just individuals taught in the arts of white magic and martial capabilities to try and do good in the world.
Are we going to get to see the map, or do you even have one yet?
I do have it, but you haven't landed yet.
Aw.
Well, when we do land, we have two options. Before we start having a quick poke around into his little dream lady, let's either find an inn or... Alicier, you come from here. Do you have a house? Or a home or somewhere that we could base that at?
And I guess we have to wait for Alicia to return.
Would be easier if he was here.
It would be.
At the worst possible time for him to be called away.
I'm trying to have a conversation with the dude.
Trying to have a conversation with you, you twat.
Sorry for that, I'm back.
There he is.
All right.
Oh.
Yeah, we've been having
Are
a
you putting in the
conversation with
British chat
Alicier.
again?
Yeah, we've been having a conversation with Alicier that's
What
been rather
time to
awkward.
now? What I miss?
You explained that the Dragoon place was that there are plenty of paladins in the city. It's kind of paladin central along with white mages. And we were just asking you if you have a house here, since you come from here.
Ah. Alright then.
And the answer
Do
is,
you
and the
have
answer
a
is
home?
yes, he does.
Yes.
You have a home.
Well,
What kind?
since I'm from here, I would do. Otherwise, where else would I come from? The woods?
Yeah.
Well,
family here?
where is it?
Well,
You have two options
go.
on that front. Either Aaronzier's home or your own personal home.
oh, there's a map now. Give me a sec.
I haven't marked them yet. I will mark them as you reveal them.
Okay.
Who is Aaron's?
As
Well,
is
since I know
mental, wasn't it?
them, Can't
Yeah.
I see them?
I mean, it
mean,
doesn't.
there's
I mean,
no
I mean, it
way
doesn't.
for
I mean,
them
I mean,
to-
ultimately, it's just numbers on the map. It doesn't ultimately matter too much their general location.
Ah.
Your character will know where any of them are. So,
So just
Fair
pick
enough.
spots in the city.
Well, it's either my place or the inn. It's up to you.
Well, since
Or Aaron's his house.
we wouldn't have to pay it either way, but hey, you can be in a familiar place for once.
My place is, and who knows, I might find some hilarious stories or.
Yeah, I'm really curious at what conditions brought up our little Alicier.
Hmm.
We're
Well,
totally gonna raid his place and find baby pictures, aren't we?
Do you have
Well-
beer?
there probably would be at the inn. Although,
I'm talking about your place. If you left anything in the fridge, if you have
Hmm.
Magitech in your place, does this place have Magitech?
it's not anywhere near as reliant on it as a lot of other places.
I say
you
the
can
most
definitely tell.
Magitech you find would be the airships, to be honest.
Yeah, the airships are definitely the most intensely magical things in the city.
Well, my
Well,
vote is we check out Alice's place. Anyone who agrees, put your hand in the air and say aye.
I
You just want to snoop, don't you?
Yes.
Sneaky. Okay. But
don't feel too bad about it. We're gonna do the same thing to me when we get to Vitea.
Exactly. So I'm taking the opportunity to do it to you before you do it to me.
But to give you all a clear reminder.
Because the issue is, I know that when we get there and get to my house, my parents will be dreadfully accommodating and it's going to suck. So,
Indeed, and I hate pushing buttons. Hopefully, when the noise stops in the background, I won't be pushing a button.
Hmm.
But
So where
anyway,
is
as I was
thine
gonna say,
house?
so my place it is. But just to warn you all, because as you know, when you first met me, I have no alcohol whatsoever.
alright, we'll just.
That's the point.
Well, if need be, we can go to the local shop.
There's a
I've
little
only
shop so people
recently
can
got into
shop.
this stuff. So you might as well pick up something along the way. Go ahead. Just stick together. This place is pretty big. You can get
Alright,
lost
so-
pretty easily.
Where are
Well, you-
we right now?
You are
Right there.
right over
Oh,
there.
way over there.
Yep, on the airship.
We
Well,
are quite a ways away.
Yep. As you're wrapping up
Let's-
that conversation, the airship pulls in finally, and you hear a voice speaking over some speakers. We're now arriving at Airship Tower 1 in the city of Garland. This is our final stop for this way. Everyone needs to disembark now. Thank you for riding with the Windrunner.
Thank Leviathan.
We've reached
Well-
the final destination.
Flying was fun while it lasted.
All
Can
right.
we get off this thing now?
Yep, the gangplank is lowered, and you are all now capable of going about the city as you see fit.
What is the furious typing I shall hear?
I hear it too.
As soon as we touch
That's
land,
right, yeah.
Thanatos gets on his hands and knees and starts kissing the ground. Land!
This is very undignified.
Shut up, this doesn't concern you.
If you're
I'm
trying to please the place, that's not how you do it.
Wait, what did he say? I didn't hear, what did he say?
If you're trying to please the place, that isn't how you do it.
Either that or he's trying to suck up to Titan. I'm not sure
We,
which.
we don't have a Titan in this one.
No.
What?
We don't have a Titan in this one. I overlooked him when making the setting. I'm sorry.
No Titan.
Considering his role in 14.
Alright, who's the god that represents the land then?
The Earth elementally aspected god, that would be Odin.
Alright, maybe he's trying to suck up to Odin then.
Oh dear.
Shut up. People are not meant to fly, they are meant to stay on ground.
What happened to your vocabulary?
Don't question my methods.
I'm questioning
That's
the
a
crap
question
out of
I
your
need
methods.
So, Alicier, let's see this lovely home of yours.
Indeed. And as I said, feel free to pick up anything along the way. Just let everyone know if you're wondering.
I mean, we're kind of broke again.
You got 900 gil to work
I'm sure
with.
you can find. I'm sure you can find something.
We got a bit, but all kidding aside, we don't really need any. Let's just get going. And then we'll figure out what to do about your girl troubles.
It's not like Kurzatam with ridiculous prizes. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I'd love to see you try to bribe your way around guards like these.
All right. So, you all are making your way towards Alicier's home?
Yep.
Yes.
Was kind of hoping you'd go there and Zir, but all right.
Oh.
Why?
Well,
Because I have shit for him.
yeah, well, we'll get to it, because we're going to make plans at Alice's home after we've raided his
They
stuff.
want to snoop around first, and then we get.
Let us have our fun. We can go see him next time.
Yes. Oh my god.
Fair enough. Okay.